Hi, everybody. My name is Dr. Joanne Munro, and I am going to be your professor for your first internship class. This is Human Services 396. So, welcome aboard. I'm not sure if I had any of you in the theories of counseling class, but um, if so, welcome back. If not, welcome to students that have never worked with me before. I'm excited to work with you. We are supposed to be meeting in person. Our first day of class is Thursday, the 25th. I'm sure you've been seeing emails about the possibility of the faculty going on strike. I'm still hoping that they resolve that and that we will be meeting the first week, but you will be advised if that happens. So barring any other information you receive from the university, I will be meeting with you on that day. Class starts at 4 o'clock. It runs from 4 to almost 6 o'clock. And we will be meeting in the education classroom building 007. So if you're familiar with that building, it's on the ground level. So you walk into the building on the first floor, and then you're going to take the elevator, or you could take the stairs and go down to the ground level. So just FYI, sometimes it's a little tricky to find your class the first day. So anyway, I'm going to just give you a basic overview of the course and how it's laid out in Canvas. Because this is your first internship for most of you, I know it could be a little nerve-wracking and a little anxiety provoking because you haven't had an internship before. It's really kind of like starting a new job. You don't typically know anybody, and you're walking in, with no relationships with people. You may not know your supervisor. So again, I like to make the class available a little bit early so you can get your textbooks and get situated. I hope most of you by now, we're about 2 weeks away from our start date. I hope most of you are registered in CICE. We'll go over that in a second, but that is the website where all the internships are located, where you need to submit all your paperwork and where you register for your particular internship. So if you are not registered yet, you definitely want to get on board. Students that start class and they're not in an internship typically have a lot of stress. So start now if you haven't already, and reach out to people and find a placement that you think will be interesting and a challenge to you and meets your requirement for hours and that kind of thing. So again, we're going to go over a lot of this in detail on the first day of class, but I want to make sure you have access to the course, you know how things are laid out, and show you the textbooks. So right now you are actually looking at the home page in Canvas, and these little purple buttons here have some key information, most importantly your course syllabus. So you want to click on that, and that will give you your syllabus. So I'm just going to pull it up here so you can see what it looks like. If I were you and you have access to a printer, it's helpful to print out your syllabus. I set it up so that it's color coded and it helps you clearly figure out when the due dates are for different assignments. So you'll notice that the week is here, what topic we're going to be discussing in class, what you need to do for that week, and what is due. So generally speaking, you're going to be reading a chapter in the quiz, a chapter in the textbook rather, and then doing a quiz. And you're also doing a weekly journal. So the weekly quiz and the weekly journal are due on the same day. They're both due on Saturday. The quiz is due first at 4 o'clock, and then your journal is due a little bit later at 6 o'clock. So for those of you that are working, I'm hoping that a Saturday due date makes it a little bit easier for you to get it done. So that is the format of the syllabus, and you'll notice that this is synchronized with Canvas. So everything is set up exactly the same as Canvas. So let's start with the textbooks, and then I'll go into CICE a little bit, and then we'll go back to Canvas and I'll show you the ebook in case you're interested in not getting a hard copy textbook and having a digital ebook, which you can do. The book you can purchase through Cengage. You can register through Cengage in the class, and all the chapters are linked by week just to make it more convenient for you. So the first book that you're going to need, I'm going to show you a hard copy. You're also welcome to get a hard copy. If you're like me, I am like old school. I like to highlight. I like to put little stickies in my book. And I kept a lot of my textbooks as a student. So, and I'll tell you a lot more about me on the first night of class. Cal State Fullerton is my alma mater. I got my master's degree here, and I teach for the Human Services Department, and I also teach for the Graduate Counseling Department if you're ever interested in getting a master's degree. But again, I'll tell you a lot more about me on day one. So this is what the textbook looks like if you want to get a hard copy. It's called An Introduction to Human Services. The authors are Woodside and McClam. And again, you can get a hard copy. You can even order this and get it delivered to you, or you can go to the Titan bookstore and get a hard copy, or you can register it through Cengage. I want to say if Cengage is unlimited, there's two different ways that you can purchase the text. It's usually you get access for 6 months, and it's cheaper, like $69.99, or you get Cengage Unlimited, which might be a good option because a lot of our textbooks are Cengage. For example, I also teach the Human Services 495 course, which is your next semester, and I also use the Cengage text for that. So Unlimited allows you to use any Cengage textbook, and I believe it used to be $99. And then any course you take that has a Cengage text, you have access to all of them for that amount. So anyway, that's your choice, but you will need this textbook. We're going to be using it starting right away, so it's good to get it before class starts. The second book that you'll need is called The Strength Finder 2.0. The author is Tom Rath, and this book you must purchase new. You cannot get a used book, and the reason why you cannot get a used book is because you are going to be taking the Strength Finder assessment. And we'll talk a lot more about the assessment in class, but basically the Strength Finder assessment is going to give you your top 5 strength themes. And the way you do that is in the back of the book, there's a sealed envelope here that gives you a code and an access to the website to take the assessment. And then the rest of this book reviews the philosophy of Strength Finders, basically how to, figure out what your passions are and how to apply those. You have your top 5, and it goes through, there are 34 strength themes, and that's what the majority of this book reviews. So again, this book is fairly inexpensive. I think you can get it on Amazon for 14 bucks, and your textbook should not be that expensive either. So let me switch back to the course here, and we can kind of go through a little bit about the modules. So you'll notice here the class is laid out. If you ever wanted to work ahead, I really try to encourage students not to procrastinate. You are welcome to read the textbook and take the quizzes whenever you want. Everything is available to you. If you want to work ahead, you feel like you want to work ahead, or you want to look up at some of the papers that are due, some of the assignments that are due, that will give you a jump start, especially when the semester starts going and you have all your other classes and you're trying to coordinate and organize everything. But you will notice here everything is laid out by module. There's a course overview that gives you just some general information. The CICE listing that has all the different sites, there's a link for that there. The fieldwork forms, there's a link for that there, all the forms that you'll need. The 2 forms that you will need to get started, and you need these completed by the second week of class, I believe, is the learning plan And that is a collaborative document that you're going to go over with your new supervisor when you meet with your supervisor, and you're going to develop some goals for the semester in terms of what you want to accomplish, what kind of tasks and activities you're going to be doing. That gets signed. Then you upload that document to Canvas, and there's a link in the course to upload that document, and we need that for accreditation purposes. So it's really important that you get that done fairly quickly. Let your supervisor know as soon as you meet with them that you need to get the learning plan done. You might want to do that on your first visit with your supervisor. Often they're busy, and it's good to let them know in advance. Most of our internship sites are very familiar with the process and understand that you need this paperwork. So don't feel like you're putting them out. They are required to be able to give you this paperwork. There's also a document about APA formatting. If that's not a format that you're familiar with, you will be getting more familiar with APA format. Both of your papers, there's a strengths paper and then a self-awareness paper that are due for this class that'll help you kind of figure out more about yourself. So you will notice from week to week, there's a to read and review section, and then there's a to do section. So you'll always know what you need to do, and you'll always know what you need to read for that particular week. So there's a link on how to purchase and access the ebook. I'm just going to go into the first chapter just so you can see what it looks like. Now remember, I'm already registered through Cengage. You're going to have to register if you're not registered through Cengage, but it should give you the weekly content with the chapters from week to week. And I do not know why this is not loading. Let me try this again. It should load fairly quickly. Normally it does for me. Let's try it again, see if there was a little problem there. Let's try it again. And if this doesn't work for me, hopefully it works for you. It usually works for me every time. But all the chapters are here, and they make it easy for you to access what you need to read for that particular week. And again, I have no idea why this is not loading. It's making me look like a liar. It normally just pops right up there. I'm going to go into chapter 2 and see if that's any easier. Okay, let's try this. But anyway, it should load right up for you, and you should be able to read the chapter for that particular week. Again, it might take a second or so to get there, but all the information that you need for the textbook is contained in those links. So you'll notice the textbook is broken down to several parts. Part 1 is chapters 1 through 4, I believe. So this is your introduction, and here are the different chapters. So this is what it looks like. This is how you'll know you're in the right spot when you get there. So again, it's mostly there for your convenience, so that you know from week to week which chapter you're going to be working with and which chapter you need to read for the quiz. So again, the format of the course is pretty much that you are going to be going to your internship, and then there's certain assignments that you're going to do for the class. Sometimes students feel like, oh, well, I'm just going to be getting my hours for my internship, my 120 hours. Well, all 3 internship classes have assignments that are attached to them as well. So within the first week, I'm going to have you read, where is it? I'm going to have you read a little bit about getting situated with your internship. Getting started in fieldwork, where it says read here, will give you a little bit more information about what's involved in the internship and what's expected. So you're going to be reading that and getting your textbooks and getting registered in CICE. And when you come to class every week, I'm going to assume that you read the chapter. We may talk about concepts from the chapter, And we're also going to be talking quite frequently about your experience in your internship. How's it going with your supervisor? Do you like the site? All that kind of information. Back to the syllabus, there is a step-by-step guide in your syllabus with all the links that you need for CICE. And you're going to need to complete the CICE registration. There's a link for the registration form there. The learning plan is actually here as well. All the links for the learning plan and all the documents that you need are either in the Human Services website or they should be contained in the syllabus here. So let me just make sure I covered everything. We will be meeting most weeks in person. There are 3 classes during this semester that are online classes. So, for example, in week 4, we will not be meeting in person. You're going to work from home, and you'll see there's an online assignment there. So you're going to complete that online assignment during the time that you would be in class. And then the following day, let's see, this first one is due by 10 a.m. The following day, you need to respond to 2 of your classmates that have posted in Canvas. So make sure you do both parts because they're worth 50% each of the assignments. So if you do the assignment and you forget to respond to your colleagues, your classmates, you're actually going to lose half the credit for that assignment. So just get in the habit of going back right away. If you go in and do the assignment and there are already responses in there, you can just respond to your classmates at that point and you never have to go back into Canvas. You're done with that particular assignment. So anyway, that is pretty much a basic overview. Feel free to peruse the syllabus and see how it's laid out. As I mentioned, you have a strengths paper, which we'll be talking about in class, that is due on the 16th of March. So you do have a little bit of time. And then there's a self-awareness paper that is due on the 13th of April. Again, those are required to be APA format. So anyway, I'm looking forward to meeting you all on the first night of class. This is a very small class so far, unless we get additional attendees signing up. But a lot of the in-person classes tend to be small because people are preferring to take online classes these days. So I love in-person classes. I love to actually meet my students in person. So anyway, having a good couple more weeks, hopefully, of relaxation before you have to go back to school. And I'll see you the first night of class on Thursday. Bye, everyone.